So DB and DBN are these plans to develop the country's economy. First of all, DB started in 1970 and it ended in 1990, and it is part of the first long-term plan, RRJP1, and it takes up four of Malaysia's plans. So it's Malaysia's second, third, fourth, and fifth plan. So it says here, this part, and it was made by Mapan. So Mapan is actually made out of multiple cultures, multiple races, and it is created so that there is a guideline for cooperation between multiple races, kerjasama antara kaum, and for these states to become more in line with each other, like they are more equal. So that is called integrasi nasional, and you want this because you want to have a national identity, and you want your people to be working together. So they made DB, and their main focus of DB is to try and destroy poverty by creating more jobs and increasing their income. So you can increase their income, and you also want to rearrange the current social structure, because back then we have this like stereotype where Chinese people work in cities and Malay people work in villages, or at least that's what they're trying to show it to us. So they want to get rid of this structure. They want to get rid of this like stereotype by having everyone be involved in everything. So that one is menghapuskan pengenalan kaum mengikut fungsi ekonomi. You want to get rid of the stigma of like this race does this and this race works for that. And the issues that they're trying to tackle would be between Bumi and non-Bumi, East Coast and West Coast, because East Coast is more developed than West Coast, if I'm not wrong. And then masyarakat desa dengan bandar, and socio-ekonomi antara negeri. So next is what did they do for DB? So for what did they do for DB? Number one is they tried to increase the living standards of the people. They have to focus both on outside the city and inside the city, because outside the city there are like farmers, there are like fishermen who might not get enough income. So what they do is they try and give them like help with developing through gerakan koperasi, like give them help on give them certain tips, and then they also they also organized a few programs like opening new land, or giving them new equipment for them to have an easier time running their current jobs, give them subsidies for fertilizers, give them discounts, give them give them more opportunities to succeed lah. And then for people in the city, they are poor because they aren't able to get a good income, and they also aren't able to buy housing. So or either not be able to buy houses, or they have to keep renting. So the way they're able to overcome that is firstly, the government tries to open more jobs so that more people can work, and then they also try to improve their lives by making electricity more comfortable, making hospitals more accessible, making education easier making education more accessible, make it cheaper. Basically, not only make more jobs, but also make their lives more comfortable, make it easier. Next was rancangan buku hijau. So rancangan buku hijau is to increase the earning of people, and also to increase the exporting of food, so that it is enough for everyone. And it mainly focuses on making good use of the land that we currently have. And they use a few like smart ways of managing the land. And then there are also these government agencies which help to make more jobs for everyone, like regardless of kaum. So firstly, there's LKIM, and then there's LPP, LPN, and RISDA. So how I memorize this is LKIM is for fishermen, LPP is for pekebun and peladang for koperasi, LPN is for beras and padi, and then RISDA is for getah. Next is, I think, one of the more important ones, which is FELDA. So if you haven't known what FELDA is like a company, not a company lah. It is a government entity that helps with opening land, for economic growth, economic development. What they do with these like open land is they create more of these ladang kelapa sawit and ladang getah, and then they have these people who don't have who are poor come to these felda sites so that they have a place to live, they have a way to get money, and then they have everything else. They have a clinic, they have a school, they have transportation, and then they have a place to yeah. Basically, they have everything that they need to live comfortably in these felda areas. So felda not only helps Bumis but also non-Bumis. It says here that some of the non-Bumi feldas include Felda Lurah Bilut, Felda Kraton, and Felda Sendayan. And then since felda is public government stuff, it also what they also want is since felda is a public, not public, a national government, a federal government type of entity, they work together with certain states, certain state governments to make more felda sites. Like for example, they work together with Yayasan Sabah to make Felda Wilayah Sahabat and Felda Umas. They also work together with Sarawak to make Salkra. Again, Felda is a federal, national level, so they work together with these state entities, these state governments. Sorry. And then for the ones that do not work with Felda, they make their own companies for opening land. So for Johor we have Kejora, for Terengganu we have Ketengah, for Pahang we have Dara, and for Kelantan we have Kesedar. There's also UDA, which is to develop more cities, and they have a few cities like Bandar Tun Hussein On and Bandar Baru UDA. They also try to get people to invest in shares, especially Bumis, because Bumis aren't able to invest in shares as much as non-Bumis. So they want to have these like MBBB, Masyarakat Perdagangan dan Perindustrian Bumi Putra, to get more people to have like a community of Bumi Putra investors, and they try to get this by making PNB, and then there's also ASN and ASB, which are like these companies for Bumis to invest in, and then for non-Bumis they can invest through Amanah Saham Malaysia. So again, MPBB is their goal. They want to have this good community for trading among Bumi Putras. So they do this through BNB, and then they have two more companies to help with investment, to help people invest in shares, and then non-Bumis also got help. And then next is IKS. So most businesses are small businesses. So these small to middle class, middle level businesses are called IKS. And the government wants the people to get involved in IKS so that they can contribute to the economy. So a few success stories include Best Farm Core and Ramly Burger, Ramly Food Processing. But Ramly is best known for their burgers lah. If it's the right one I'm talking about lah. Excuse me. Next is Pendidikan Tenaga Kerja Mahir. So Tenaga Kerja Mahir means more. Tenaga Kerja Mahir is like more hands-on activities, like doing experiments, doing like engineering and so on. And we have already, and one way the government did this is by implementing Kemahiran Hidup, or we know it today as RBT. And they also have like schools. They also have like for vocational schools. They have these technical schools specifically for people who want to work in these sectors. And you want these schools because it's easier for them to get a job, because not everyone is talented in education, academics. They may be more talented in like making stuff. So that is what these technical and vocational schools are for. Next is DPN. So DPN is after DEB, and it was made by Mahathir. And DPN is 10 years. It uses two rancangan Malaysia, so ke-6 dan ke-7. And it's planned, and it's the second long-term plan, so it's RRJP2. And DPN is like a way for Malaysia to become a more advanced country. Instead of a developing country, they want it to become an advanced country. We aren't there yet lah, because of certain situations. So what is the goal of DPN? They want to have a stable, balanced economic growth. We don't want to just focus on cities. We don't just want to focus on Malays. We want everyone to be on the same page. We want everyone to be on the same level. So what is their objective? They want to have a community that works together. Long story short, And this is because you want Malaysia to become an advanced country, as I said earlier, a developed nation. Like, for if people work together more, it is easier for Malaysia to continue developing to become an advanced country. So what did DPN do? Their strategies include economic-wise, social-wise, and environment-wise. For economic-wise, they want people to be involved in private sector. So the government will get more involved in private companies, and then they do more replantation. They use more science and technology, so they can have more advanced equipment, and they want to make more Bumis invest in shares. And then for social wise, they want to make it easier for poor people to get education. They want to have this MPPV, and then they want the community to be more disciplined and progressive, so it's easier to develop. And then for physical kemudahan is, I don't know what it's called. I forgot what it's called already. Basically, the infrastructure that we have, we want to improve and we want to add more infrastructure so that our people are more comfortable. But we want to take into consideration that we don't want to harm the environment. So what did they do for DPN? Firstly, they gave subsidies and they gave focus on like these farmers and fishermen so that they are able to increase their productivity. So the way they increase their productivity, their productivity is, instead of like manually fishing, they use like more automated stuff. They use like nets. They use more advanced stuff to get more fishes. This is an example. Or for paddy, instead of like manually harvesting, they use like these harvester trucks. So that is how they try to reduce the poverty gap. And then for like, golongan belia means like more young people. They're given training in places like Pusat Latihan Kemahiran Kegiatmara and Institut Latihan Perindustrian or ILP, so that they are able to work in so that they are able to go to practice or to be trained in more complex stuff, more harder stuff to do. Next will be to rearrange the social structure again, because they want to have MPBB. So they want to have this MPBB. So they did a few things. The ones I'll focus on is they gave emphasis, like they gave more attention on Bumis so that they can make more IKS. If you don't remember IKS, go back to what I said earlier about IKS. And then for Bumis to compete with other non-Bumis, they are exposed to more modern technology so that everyone can be on the same level. It will be more fair for everyone. I think lastly, you want more Bumis to be working in manufacturing and service sectors. Like you want more people to be working in factories, I think. I might be wrong, but basically you want more Bumis to work. So next is penyusunan semula modal saham. So you want to rearrange the way people can invest. I'm not that sure on this one either. So there isn't really much to go on here. I will recommend you to know the examples of MARA, Pembadanan Nasional Berhad, which is PERNAS, and also PIKAN, Pembadanan Kemajuan Ekonomi Negeri. And then these Bumis and non-Bumis are given more chances to invest in private sector. Next is developing more land. Again, so it's not just Felda now. You want to develop more land for other reasons. Like for example, MARDI, Malaysian Agricultural Research and Development Institute. And then to increase crop growth, to speed up crop growth, we use more like smart planting, pertanian pintar. And then the third point is a bit too long. I don't think it's that important lah. And so, what are the successes of DB and TPN? Firstly, they are able to reduce the poverty rate. Number two is people's lives become more comfortable. And I can say this because one of the things that DB and DPN did well is develop hospitals so that people are able to get treatment. Thirdly, there is now a middle class which consists of like the workers that we have today, like teachers, not just teachers lah, but lecturers, dentists, these people who are not that rich, but they're also not poor. They are able to live comfortable lives. They help with contributing to the society in two ways: helping develop the country and making people's life easier. Because you won't be able to go to the dentist if there are no dentists, right? Next is this MPBB. This MPBB is created, and this MPBB consists of like Bumiputras that are successful after they invest, after they are involved in the economic sector. So these are the four examples, and they not only help themselves with these Bumiputra benefits, but they are also able to create more jobs because these people are like are owners of companies, and after going through like a tough path, like investing and getting into businesses, they're able to succeed in life, and then they can make, and then when they succeed, their company grows more, and then they can create more jobs. Next is pembangunan pendidikan. So this one is because there are more jobs being made, there are more types of courses you can take, so there are more demand for these jobs lah. When there are more demand for jobs, more people will take the course. So because of that, there are more types of things you can take to graduate and get a job in. So this helps with making the living standards of Malaysians more comfortable. Again, because there are more jobs, that means there are more courses to take, and that means you have more job opportunities, so your life becomes better. I think this is the second last. Actually, I don't know. Pengangkutan dan perhubungan is basically just road development. Perkembangan wilayah is just Felda, and one of Felda's best success stories is Segitiga Jengka. It was a Felda site, but it was so good that it became a city called Bandar Tun Abdul Razak. And then for economic wise, there is more advanced machinery, more advanced, more high technology industry. And one of the things that this advanced technology can help in would be fixing ships, petroleum, natural gas, and so on. And these industries need a lot of firepower, work power, and a lot of investment. But because these are like heavy investments, the reason why they are so expensive is because they are very high technology. So it is mainly handled by a HiCom. And then next is the creation of new places for industrial matters lah, like new industrial sites. There's the estate, there's Taman Technology, and there's the zone for industrial bebas. For estate, it is more of a planned city so that you can create more cities. Taman Technology Perindustrian is for research, and Zone Perindustrian Bebas is to pull in more investors so they can do their research here instead. Lastly, we have our own car now, like Proton and Perodua, and then we also have our own motorcycle, which is Modernas. So not only does it show that our country is pretty good at making advanced stuff,